As I mentioned earlier on Friday, on Friday and Saturday, I'll be speaking at the Louisiana Republican Party's Victory 2022 at the Cajun Dome in Lafayette. I'll be moderating a discussion with Dr. Ben Carson on the priorities of a post-Roe world. To find out more about that, go to TonyPerkins.com. About 2 weeks ago, the Buffalo, New York office of CompassCare Pregnancy Services was firebombed by pro-abortion activists who also spray-painted, quote, "Jane was here" on the side of the building. So far, those responsible have not been brought to justice. But what's worse is that CompassCare is now being investigated by the state of New York. For what? Well, for not providing abortions. Joining me now to talk about this is Jim Harden. He's the CEO of CompassCare Pregnancy Services outside of Buffalo. Jim, welcome to Washington Watch.
Tony, it's an honor to be with you today. Thanks for having me.
So Jim, give us a quick recount of the June 7th attack and what has happened since.
Yeah, so on the morning of June 7th, it was a Tuesday morning, smoke and fire was emanating from the facility. Police and fire rescue responded and found that the glass was broken in the facility and fires were lit. And on the side, as you mentioned, on the side of the building was scrawled the signature of Jane's Revenge, saying Jane was here. Jane's Revenge, of course, being the pro-abortion terrorist group with multiple cells, which they claim to have in all 50 states. This is a crime wave. We're right in the middle of it, and we've received the brunt of their attacks so far. And they've actually said that they're going to do more of this kind of attack and worse in the coming days, including a night of rage when Roe is reversed.
So, and Jim, the state of New York has been helping you out?
The state of New York, well, no. What Kathy Hochul did, Kathy Hochul is the New York State governor, and she essentially gave $10 million to private practice abortionists to increase their security, despite the fact that they have no threats. They're not the ones whose facilities are burning. And to add insult to injury, she signed a bill investigating pro-life pregnancy centers while calling us, now get this, Neanderthals. She called us Neanderthals. I mean, this, and I said this. Go ahead.
I'm going to play that clip so people will know what you're saying. I've got a clip of her actually pledging this money to these abortion clinics. Play clip number 12, please.
We also know we have to protect these centers. So we allocated $10 million in grants for reproductive health care centers because we've already seen the threats of anti-abortion violence. And the climate out there is just getting more extreme every single day.
I guess I missed the attacks on the abortion clinics. It's only the crisis pregnancy centers in the churches and the pro-life organizations that have been attacked. Now we're almost up to 60 of them. But you, at your entity, your Care Pregnancy Center, you can't have access to these $10 million?
No. It's specifically geared towards abortion clinics. And we, of course, don't provide or refer for abortion because of what we believe. And we're being attacked for what we believe. We believe that abortion represents a fundamental misunderstanding about what it means to be human under God. We believe that all people are made in the image of God and therefore deserving of blessing and protection from the womb to the tomb without partiality. And the government's job is to protect all citizens, not just the ones that agree with them, including the preborn ones, which is why Roe versus Wade, the reversal of Roe versus Wade is so important, because the ruling said in 1973, the word person does not apply to the unborn. That is classic partiality, and that is the headwater for all social injustice.
Now, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, has been in contact with you. Are they investigating the attack at your clinic?
Yes, the FBI is involved. We actually notified the FBI 2 weeks before this happened, so they started a case on it because the threats from Jane's Revenge encouraging their cells to act in this kind of violent way were increasing. So we notified them, and they've been involved since the beginning, working with local police. But to date, we're not aware of any state or federal law enforcement that's actually adding resources to protect pro-life organizations and people. My family had to relocate due to threats of intimidation, and so that's
So Jim, the threats continued after the attack on your facility?
Actually, the threats increased. Can I read to you what they're saying really quickly?
Yeah, it's a family channel, but you can read. I know how vicious the left is, so clean up the
Yes.
language. But yes, go ahead.
Yes, you've seen us in Buffalo, New York. Through attacking, we find joy. And they promise to take increasingly drastic measures. They may not come in the form of something so easily cleaned up as fire and graffiti, saying it's open season on pregnancy centers. But we're not going to stop. This is God's call on our lives. Our job is to be afraid of God and nothing else. And so we fear him, and he's asked us to do this work, and we're going to keep doing it.
Well, and we've got folks across the country praying for you and for other care pregnancy centers that are doing this work that, quite frankly, Jim, it's because, in large part, because of men and women like you that we're at this moment where we're about to see Roe and Casey overturned, because these 2,500, 3,000 clinics that dot the landscape of America ministering to women and men has made a difference in changing hearts and minds. So thank you for joining us today, and we're going to continue to track this and encourage the government to the degree we can. We're certainly working with members of Congress to get the Biden administration to step up and protect those that are actually being attacked.
Yes, that's exactly what's needed. We need to protect. We need equal protection for pro-life people and organizations, and that's the government's job.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Jim Harden, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. It's been an honor.